And welcome everyone to our live coverage of this Carabao Cup semi-final first leg from the Emirates Stadium in North London as Arsenal take on Newcastle. Lots of anticipation down in that players' tunnel as the Arsenal team arrive for tonight's encounter, knowing that a place in the final against either Liverpool or Spurs is the prize, and that final will be played at Wembley on March the 16th. And a heavyweight final is absolutely guaranteed. If it is Arsenal, then the final would be their 9th, their first since 2018 when they lost to Manchester City. And if it's this team, Newcastle United, in the final, then that would be their 3rd League Cup final, the most recent 2023, losing to Manchester United. For the record, Arsenal have won this cup twice in their history. Newcastle are yet to win it. But I think we are pretty much guaranteed excitement here at the Emirates. Newcastle fans have certainly travelled in numbers, as of course they always do. Characterful lot they are. Doesn't matter what the weather is, a shirt is not for everybody. It is quite cold in North London. But Stuart Robson is alongside me for this one. And Stuart, I mean, these are two very, very good sides who are in very good form.
Yeah, absolutely. Newcastle of late have been really good. Saw that Manchester United only a few days ago. They played excellently, dominated midfield. No Guimaraes playing today, so that just weakens them slightly. And Arsenal, although they didn't get quite the result against Brighton for long periods, dominated that first half. So as you said, two teams in really good form at the moment.
Yeah, Newcastle have really hit their stride with 6 straight victories, whilst Arsenal have an excellent record, particularly here at the Emirates, where they are unbeaten now in 17 games in all competitions. The atmosphere of a semi-final is very much in evidence, and so will be one or two butterflies as the players line up for the first leg, of course, of this two-legged semi-final. They'll do it again next month at St James's Park to decide who will be going to Wembley. Well, there is the scene. We just saw a little flash of the VAR monitor. You might have missed it if you blinked, but it is a history-making evening in English football tonight, because we have VAR in the Carabao Cup for the first time in this season's competition. But where the history comes is if there is a decision overturned by the video assistant referee, then for the first time in English football, the on-pitch referee will relay it to the crowd over the speaker system. It's a system which FIFA used in the Women's World Cup of 2023, hosted in Australia and New Zealand, and I was lucky enough to be there, and it worked really well. Though there were one or two referees, they all have to do it in English, of course, and one or two referees who English wasn't their best language, but we won't have that problem tonight. John Brooks is the on-pitch official. And it is, I think, something which they're looking to trial at the moment, but with a view to bringing into English football. We'll see how it goes. More importantly, here they come out into the arena, led by John Brooks, the referee. Arsenal to the right of the camera, Newcastle to the left. We've got fireworks and flags and smoke and light show and lots of noise from the Newcastle fans travelling in their many thousands, and the Arsenal fans getting behind their side. Stuart, there's absolutely no doubt that a trophy is very important for Mikel Arteta. He's won the FA Cup so far. He's done really, really well, don't get me wrong. But in 5 years, one trophy. Newcastle haven't won anything for ages.
Well, they got to this final a couple of years ago, didn't they, Newcastle, and lost to Manchester United. They loved the experience, their fans did. They'll want to get back to the final this time. You're absolutely right. Arteta has won the FA Cup, but he probably needs more titles just to convince everybody that he has done a fantastic job.
Let's have a look at the starting lineups for this one then, shall we? Arsenal are missing Bukayo Saka and Ethan Nwaneri, both injured. In all, there are 5 changes to the side, which drew at Brighton in the Premier League on Saturday. In come Jurrien Timber from suspension, youngster Miles Lewis-Skelly at left-back, Ødegaard's back, so too Martinelli, and Kai Havertz, who returns after illness. Out go Calafiori, Jorginho, Mikel Merino, Nwaneri injured, as I say, and Gabriel Jesus, who is amongst the substitutes. Also there for Arsenal, Raheem Sterling, fit after a knee problem. Newcastle without Bruno Guimaraes and Fabian Schär, both suspended. First choice keeper Nick Pope out with a knee injury too, still out. Eddie Howe making one change to the 11, which won across North London on Saturday at Tottenham, and that sees the former Arsenal man Joe Willock come in for Bruno Guimaraes. Willock played 78 games for the Gunners before moving on to the northeast. So Sven Botman starts again, having missed the entire season prior to Saturday with injury. Played 90 minutes on Saturday, and Alexander Isak is really the form striker in England with 9 goals in his last 9 games. Well, that's the stats for the Newcastle striker. Kai Havertz has 12 goals in all competitions this season. He's done really well, and they'll be pleased to have him back.
Of course they will. Jesus has been in excellent form the last few weeks, scoring all those goals, but Havertz is a player that doesn't always play in the centre-forward role. He'll drift out wide at times, he'll drift back into midfield, tries to create an overload, particularly down the right-hand side. So it's interesting to see how Newcastle try and deal with him.
And Isak in the centre of that hub, and very much at the centre of Newcastle United's recent run of form. It's 9 goals in 9, 6 in his last 4. He has been outstanding this season, and when you consider he missed the start of the season with injury, his stats are really, really good. As he just enjoys a word with John Brooks, whose assistants, by the way, today are Ian Hussin and Wade Smith with the flags. Tony Harrington is the 4th official. Michael Salisbury is the video assistant referee. Arsenal in red and white, Newcastle in black and white, as it should be. And Wembley, just a few miles west of here around the North Circular, is where these two sides hope they will be come the middle of March. John Brooks is ready, and so are Newcastle, who get the game underway, kicking from right to left, defending the clock end of the Emirates Stadium in the first half of the first leg. Joe Linton chasing this. It's Saliba across for Arsenal. He just flicks it off the boot of the Brazilian midfielder, and Arsenal have a throw in. They are a little bit short in one or two areas still, Arsenal, particularly down the right-hand side, with Saka injured and his young apprentice, if you like, Nwaneri, also injured. So we've got Trossard and Martinelli wide tonight. Both really, Stuart, would prefer to be on the left-hand side, but it's Trossard here who's started on the right.
Yeah, that's surprising. I thought Martinelli would play on the right-hand side and Trossard on the left, but as you said, there's the man that's taken up the position that Saka normally takes up, and Nwaneri, who had a very good first half the other day against Brighton.
This is Dubravka in the Newcastle goal. Nick Pope missing at the moment with a knee injury. Tonali with a little ball back and then touch back to Dubravka, whose form has been absolutely terrific since he came in for the injured Nick Pope. It's all about collective defending, but Dubravka has kept a host of clean sheets in the 6 matches in which he's been called upon since Pope was injured. Livramento getting a little kick, and it's a free kick to Newcastle.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far forward we'll see Livramento today. When he does get in forward areas, he's a really good attacking right back. Might just be pushed back by Martinelli.
That's all the way through to David Raya. His understudy Neto, by the way, is not available for Arsenal tonight because he is cup-tied. Arsenal's substitute goalkeeper, should they need one, is 16-year-old Jack Porter. Here comes Isak, sending it wide to the right-hand side. Murphy's driven ball in, hit the back of Gabriel. Botman sliding in, beaten to it. This is Declan Rice for Arsenal. Play on, says the referee. Left arm raised skywards, finding Jurien Timber. Thomas Partey, whose adaptability has been useful to Mikel Arteta this season. He played as their right back again at the weekend in the Premier League, but is back in the centre of midfield this evening, probably his more natural home.
There you just saw Havertz going into a more midfield area. Good run from Isak.
That's a good ball to find him as well, and he's got there, and he turns it inside to Joe Linton, and it's half a chance which Joe Linton has skied over the top. Great movement.
That's what Isak can do. Watch him just come short and then spin. It's not good defending from Arsenal's centre-backs. Saliba does well enough just to hold him up here. Joe Linton, who's the midfield player that likes to get forward, just got underneath that one. Half a chance.
It was. Here's Havertz. Holding off Burn to find Ødegaard. Timber for Trossard. So much of Arsenal's best statistics last season and this season are about the combinations between Ødegaard and Saka, who are both so important, and probably for too many games this season they've been missing one or the other, or even sometimes both.
Well, they're key. Ødegaard with his passing ability, so clever on the ball, so composed as well.
Here he is, finding Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli's dipping ball into the penalty area is met by the head of Dan Burn. Anthony Gordon slightly mistimed that jump, I think. Here's Ødegaard. Julian Timber getting the better of Hall. The ball to the back post put behind by Livramento in the first corner of the semi-final. Goes Arsenal's way.
Lovely ball by Ødegaard, as we were talking about. He just whips this round, Hall. I think Timber's been good this season for Arsenal, both defensively and when he does get into forward areas. Had to play safe. The Newcastle right back.
So Arsenal's corner. 5 played, quite lively already. Rice is going to take this corner kick. Arsenal are good at these, as everybody knows. They often overload that area behind the back post, and the red and white jerseys will run into the goal mouth just as the ball's about to be delivered.
And Saliba's job is to just try and obstruct the goalkeeper. That's why Tonali's trying to stop him getting towards the goalkeeper.
Watch those 4. Here they come. Rice with the delivery. Up go the heads, and I think it came off Timber. And it's a goal kick to Newcastle.
Yeah, I was just watching Saliba there. He starts on the back post, and he's done this nearly every time Arsenal get a corner. Just watching, he runs from there and stands in front of the goalkeeper, so the goalkeeper can't come out. Just got too much on it, Timber, on that occasion.
His brother is the captain of Feyenoord in the Eredivisie. Martinelli, when he gave it to Tonali. Isak working it away to Lewis Hall. Hall's low ball into the box. Left boot from Saliba half blocked it. Hall has done well here. Lifted away by Ødegaard to Burn. Forward by Tonali. Gordon with a nod down to Joe Linton. Tonali's been really key to Newcastle as well over the last 4-6 weeks. They missed him for the ban, of course, but he seems to have found his slot here, playing a little bit deeper, more as a 6. Anyway, here goes Livramento. That's a decent cross. Gordon.
Could he have done a bit more with that? Really good play. As we said, Tonali starting it all off. Livramento getting forward, getting a decent cross into the box. A fairly good start by Newcastle.
Well, their confidence bound to be high. David Raya with the clearance away downfield.
You mentioned Tonali. The other player I'd like to mention is Hall, who's come into the side and done really well. Usually we see Byrne play at left back when all the other centre-halves are fit. Because Byrne is now playing at centre-half, it means that Hall has come in and he's done really well. He's a good athlete. He's got a good left foot.
Here he is. Like Livramento, came through Chelsea's system. It's foul on Trossard by Gordon. The scar on the nose is a legacy of the game at Tottenham at the weekend when he got a bit of an elbow in the face. Bit of bruising, a little bit of black eye.
I think it's fair to say that Trossard made the most of that situation. And this is what Arsenal are good at. See them from a lot of set plays, they're inventive. Not just corners, but they're free kicks as well.
Well, Odegaard pretty much guarantees good delivery. In it goes from the Norwegian. It's a good one in, which Hall got a head on. It's Martinelli into the crowd. It's Saliba. It's blocked, and Byrne did enough. And it could have fallen more kindly for Havertz, but it was Dan Byrne who blocked the shot.
Well, delivery was slightly short, so it was a fairly easy clearance. Doesn't get enough height on it, Hall. There's the first block from Tonali, and there's the next one from Byrne, and Havertz couldn't quite get there.
Well, there's a lot of Dan Byrne, and he did well here. 6'7".
Was this going in? It looked as though it was on target. Took a slight deflection. Maybe Joe Linton or Botman. I think he did well.
Yeah.
Goal saving block.
It would have been a very good save to keep it out had it not hit the leg of Dan Byrne. It's a long raking ball which Anthony Gordon will do well to reach and can't quite. Actually, at the weekend, Stuart, I was talking to Graham Lasso, the former Chelsea fullback, who was making the point that there were an awful lot of fullbacks around the Premier League that started out at Chelsea. We'll return to that as Raya gives it to Livramento. Murphy here, now Livramento, Tonali, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. And David Raya has both hands raised, as well he might.
It was a really poor pass out. Quite sure what he was looking for. Nowhere near an Arsenal player there. Really, Newcastle didn't make the most of the situation. Tonali's trying to play a 1-2. He made a few mistakes when he first came to Arsenal, but over the last 18 months, or the last year, he's been an excellent goalkeeper for them. Beginning of last season, made one or two big errors.
I thought his double save against Atalanta in the Champions League was one of the saves of the season. He saved Matteo Retegi's penalty, but the follow-up save was brilliant.
He's got Newcastle going again, Eddie Howe. There's a period where he was under pressure for his job, but the side weren't playing with enough invention, lost their intensity slightly.
They were 12th in late October in the English Premier League, Newcastle, and they're now 5th, so that shows you just what an upturn it has been. That's a nice ball, just popped over the top of Sven Botman, and Martinelli advancing. He's got lovely feet, the Brazilian. Dan Byrne was in the way. That was clever from Martinelli. Turned a corner.
Well, the worrying thing for Botman was the lack of pace here. He's really struggling. Martinelli gets away from him, and in the 1v1 beats him. Once again, it's Dan Byrne who gets the clearance in.
Yeah. As we were saying right at the top of the programme in the team news, Sven Botman made his first appearance of the season at Tottenham after a long-term knee injury. Played 90 minutes there. It's a big ask after a long time out to start 2 games of this calibre back-to-back. In goes this corner kick, and that should have gone in the net. Jurrien Timber underneath it, and if he got over it, it was 1-0.
Well, watch the goalkeeper again. Starts to go towards the ball, then he can't back off because Saliba's in his way. And Timber gets a good jump in, but can't get over it. Hall doesn't do too much defensively here. Oh, that's a free header. Newcastle have got problems at set plays.
Well, he's got his head on two now, and that one should have gone in. Missed the draw at Brighton at the weekend, suspended Timber. Joe Linton bringing it down, quite neatly actually from an awkward height. Isak's forward ball, the pace of Gordon. Willock in the middle, Gordon. Murphy just behind Tonali, but it has reached Livramento. Martinelli in front of him. Just
wonder whether Gordon could have gone for goal there when that ball was played over the top. He looked as though he had Timber beaten for pace.
He's been in good goal scoring form of late, Anthony Gordon. Not as good as Isak, but pretty good nonetheless. Here's Trossard. Lewis Skelly, Arsenal's youthful number 49. Here he is. I was going to say defender, but he's probably more naturally a midfielder, but he's often filled in at full-back for Arsenal since he broke into the team. There's Isak off and running again. Saliba with him. That's good play. Gordon is in the middle, and the pass is just behind him. Hall arrives, blocked by Gabriel. Only half cleared. Tonali over the top of the bar. It's brilliant from Isak.
Well, the run to start with. Once again, Gabriel gets sucked into midfield somehow and doesn't see the run. Saliba gets out there and holds him up. But this is good play. 1v1. Not too many people beat Saliba. Gets himself into a good position. The cutback isn't quite right for Gordon. And the shot by Hall was always going to be blocked, and Tonali coming onto it probably has to go through the back of the ball rather than trying to use the inside of his boot.
Tonali's only goals for Newcastle this season came in the quarter-final win in this competition when they knocked out Brentford at St James's Park. He got 2 in a 3-1 victory. Gordon's recent goal-scoring form, which has been good. He got 1 in the 3-0 win over Villa and another at Tottenham on Saturday. It's neatly brought down. It's rather dry, so no one in the middle on that occasion, and Arsenal will try and break. We played 16 minutes and Newcastle have impressed in that period. Arsenal's chances have come from set pieces, Newcastle's from open play. Trossard can't find Havertz. That's a goal kick to Newcastle.
Oh, what a pass it was from Tonali, the big diagonal out to that right-hand side. He's looked very impressive in this first 16 minutes. Former Milan player, here it is. Out to Murphy on that right-hand side. Murphy's ball into the box. Quite sure who he was looking for.
It's Byrne. This is a goal kick. The thing about former Chelsea fullbacks, Lewis Hall is one, Tino Livramento is another, Tariq Lamptey was another one that Graham was talking about. There were a couple of others as well. So what is it about Chelsea and fullbacks? They keep producing them, they keep selling them. Joe Linton would appear to have a problem. Something to do with that sweat in the eyes or something of that nature.
That brilliant game against Manchester United a couple of games ago. Scored a goal dominated midfield, made lots of forward runs.
It's almost forgotten now that in his first couple of seasons at Newcastle he was really seen as the centre forward who didn't score goals. He's turned into an outstanding midfielder.
So a lot of credit has to go to Eddie Howe, seeing him as that attacking midfield player. Complete change in the way he's turned his performances around.
Timber. David Raya. Gabriel. Rice. See Newcastle shape their out of possession, a 4-5-1. Absolutely terrible record at the Emirates, Newcastle. The last 13 visits, they've lost 12 and drawn 1. Partey into Ødegaard. Ødegaard helping it onto Rice, who decided to try and leave it. He felt that Martinelli was going to get there first. In fact, Livramento did. The two then come together and they're both hurt.
Well, Livramento won the ball. I think Martinelli, as they both slid in, Martinelli then crashed into Livramento. Certainly no foul by the Newcastle fullback. So he wins the ball cleanly here. It's just a coming together. A nasty one, but this is a really good tackle.
Clash of shins.
Sometimes those things just can't be helped. Good tackle, he's sliding in. Martinelli wants to win the ball as well. Certainly hurts.
Eddie Howe has been in charge for more than 3 years now at Newcastle. Finished runners-up in that League Cup final to Manchester United a couple of seasons ago. They are so starved of silverware, Newcastle, that you feel that the next coach who brings them a trophy is very likely, once the silverware is on the shelf, to be cast in bronze to stand outside St James's. It's given away rather carelessly. Here's Trossard. Keen to impress.
Hasn't been able to get involved in the game so far, Willett. He was the player that gave the ball away there and made the recovery challenge. And this is where Arsenal are a massive threat. Newcastle deciding to zonal mark across the 6-yard box, a couple in the near post zone. I know that the Arsenal players are going to go in there at some point. They have to attack the ball, Newcastle players.
Well, there are the four at the back post. Timber, Partey, Martinelli, Havertz. Now they advance. Goalkeeper comes, punches. Dubravka. Lewis Skelly just sorting his feet out. Did well, actually. Gordon just sniffed an opportunity there. Then the pass from Lewis Skelly caught Julian Timber slightly on his heels. Goal kick.
It's a great punch from the goalkeeper. Could have caught that. What was that moment you were talking about? It actually worked out for him, and now he plays a better ball. Timber was in.
17. The youngster, Lewis Skelly. Livramento. Joe Linton couldn't get there. And then makes the block to deny Trossard. Rice to Partey. Partey for Gabriel. Once again, the team trying to play it from the back doesn't do it particularly well.
Livramento made a terrible pass infield.
Joe Linton actually made a good decision not to stretch and try and win it, because he was inside his own penalty area, and if he'd done that and misjudged it, it would have been a penalty. Lewis Skelly. Parton. Drilled, but onto the head of Lewis Hall. Isak. Oh, it's a great ball from Isak. Murphy's flying down the right-hand side. Isak arriving, he's pulled back by Trossard. Referee will come back to that. And Murphy has got a corner. Now, if John Brooks has seen that, Leandro Trossard on Isak, he can't have seen it. Otherwise, 100% Trossard would have got a yellow card.
Again, good centre-forward play, knows where the space is. The VAR can't look at it. Surely the referee could have seen that, just there.
Look at that. Well, had he seen it, he would have been booked. Trossard, but John Brooks didn't. It's a corner. Got away with that, Arsenal's number 19. Control, headed firmly away by Rice. It's as even as we hoped it would be, isn't it?
Certainly been a good first 25 minutes. Newcastle have played their part. You see why they're on such a good run. And Arsenal, every time they get a set play, are looking a threat.
Tino Livramento with the throw. Dubravka. Around about 7,000 Newcastle fans here this evening. It's one of the nice things about cup competitions is that more away fans get the opportunity to come, a bigger allocation for travelling supporters, and Newcastle fans will always travel. Done well to get out of a tight little corner there, Lewis Skelly.
Big risk, but he got away with it. And the ball gets played, and Tonali gets tight. He does really well to go between Murphy and Tonali. Sometimes you think, is the risk worth it?
He is about 6 months older than Ethan Nwaneri, the other 17-year-old who's had a breakthrough year. Gabriel for Rice. Here's Joe Linton. That's an Arsenal try.
I'm not sure we've seen the best of Rice this season. In part, he's playing as the holding midfield player. Rice plays slightly to the left. We saw him at West Ham as a player that really dominated that central area. He was a holding midfield player, all galloping further forward.
Joe Linton just knocked over Ødegaard here. It'll be a free kick to the home side. They've met already once this season. That was up at St James's Park. It was a 1-0 win for Eddie Howe over Mikel Arteta in November. Isak got the goal to secure the points.
Arsenal had a lot of the play, but they didn't have enough quality to break Newcastle down, did they, on that occasion?
That's nicely poked into Ødegaard by Trossard. Look how many black and white jerseys there are for Arsenal to try to play through. Trossard, Gabriel, good hit, off target.
Yeah, that's good from the centre-back, saw the opportunity just to step into midfield. Just comes forward here. Takes a second touch to get it out of his feet. Always going wide.
His next goal will be his 20th for Arsenal, which is not bad for a central defender. It's at an average of about a goal every 10 games.
I'm not sure how many of them would have been in open play, mind you.
I don't think too many of them were driven from 25 metres anyway. Saliba, Trossard. It's a powerful header. Willock couldn't quite control it though. Rice and forward to Trossard. He moved the ball early, and Martinelli is running in behind Botman, who won't catch him, and he's hit the post.
Well, the two centre-halves just haven't got that burst of pace, have they? It's a lovely ball played in the first. It was a big chance for Martinelli. Tried to wrap his foot round it and bend it in at the near post. But what a good pass that was from Trossard.
Just moving the ball quickly, and the chance was there. There was absolutely no prospect of either defender catching Martinelli. The question was, could he beat Dubravka? Here goes Lewis Skelly. And Martinelli again, running at Sven Botman. Lewis Skelly with a cross, and Trossard blocked by Hall, and teeing up Ødegaard, who had Willock reacting very quickly and making it difficult for him.
Best little spell Arsenal have had in the game so far. Struggled to get the clearance in, missed kick from Trossard, but then has the awareness just to set up Ødegaard.
Willock just meant that Ødegaard didn't have that clear sight of goal he was wanting.
He's got the crowd going.
Took a flick off Willock on its way. In goes that latest corner kick. Dubravka came. Byrne couldn't control it. Arsenal trying to force it over the line. Havertz sees it blocked. Botman hurled himself in the way. Newcastle lucky to get away with that. Very unconvincing bit of goalkeeping. Botman with the block in the end.
Yeah, that was whipped in with a lot of pace. He's misjudged a couple of those balls now, Dubravka.
Here's Trossard. And again, the Belgian. Lewis Skelly. Martinelli, who smacked the upright just a couple of moments ago. It's too close to Dubravka. Yeah, really good spell for Arsenal.
On a couple of occasions, Newcastle, when they've played out from the back, they've given the ball to the fullback who's got nowhere else to go. Here's another case. Where does Hall go with this? He can't go anywhere. Havard with Livramento down the other side. Just got to change the way they play out from the back, Newcastle. See that coming a long way off.
They've got to throw in out of it.
Arsenal are almost inviting the ball to go to Lewis Hall down this left-hand side, or Livramento down the other side, and then they close down and stop the ball being played down the line.
Away wins at Old Trafford and the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in their last two games, Newcastle. Be quite a hat-trick if they could come away from the Emirates with a rare win. Isak unable to find Gordon. Saliba sees it behind for the goal kick.
He's been really struggling for pace, Botman, but it was an important block he got in here. There's the goal kick, might have got a little nudge. And there's the block from Botman. Really good one as well, an important one. Throwing his body on the line. That's the player that got the strike in.
Let's hold back to Dubravka. Yeah, it's going to take a while before he's back to his best. And at his best, he's very good indeed. Sven Botman, he's been a very good signing from Lille for Newcastle. Hall advancing here.
His lack of pace was really exposed, wasn't it, on a couple of occasions now.
Livramento receiving from Murphy. Dan Burn.
First time that Isak hasn't got hold of the ball and made it count. This was a decent ball played by Byrne.
Here's Rice, and that's a free kick given against the Arsenal midfielder. Sandro Tonali. Saliba equal to the Tonali pass. Here's Timber. Saliba. Thomas Partey. Into the last 10 minutes of what's been a really enjoyable first half.
Just changed the shape of their midfield, Newcastle. Joe Linton is almost following Ødegaard at the moment. Willock, who's not really been in the game, is pushed forward on Partey.
Here's Hall getting the better of Leandro Trossard and winning a free kick. Good awareness.
He did well there. To out-muscle Trossard. Good bit of skill. He went down fairly easily. But a player that's certainly improved since he's been at Newcastle. He's going to play a few times for Chelsea. And they were struggling under Graham Potter at that particular point.
He's an England international now, Lewis Hall. Still only 20 as Dubravka goes long. Little flick on, and it comes to Isak, and Newcastle have the lead. And it is Isak yet again. His scoring streak continues. And Newcastle are in front. They strike first in the semi-final.
Well, it's as simple as it comes. Free kick, long ball played forward. Newcastle win the first ball. They have players running beyond the flick on. The question will be, is there a question of offside here? Here's the first ball played forward. Here's the flick on, no offside there, and certainly no offside there. And it's a good finish from Isak, lifting it beyond the goalkeeper. There's the first win. Great touch from Murphy that takes it into the path of Isak, and he does the rest. That's the touch that makes it. I'm not sure he tries to get it that high, but it's under the crossbar. It's good enough.
Well, definitely onside. I think it was Declan Rice actually playing Murphy and Isak onside. And once he was in that position, there was very little prospect of him not putting the ball in the Arsenal net. Arsenal 0, Newcastle 1. He is on fire and on the ball and running at Gabriel and cutting inside of Thomas Partey, finding Anthony Gordon. Gordon's touch just let him down, actually. That's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. Well, they just had probably their best spell of the game. 10 minutes or so in which Newcastle offered nothing, and then this.
Well, who wins the first ball? It's actually Botman that wins the first ball, flicks it on. Great touch from Murphy, who'd made the run in behind the first flick on, and he was alert and alive. As I said, I'm not sure he meant to get it that high into the roof of the net, but on his weaker left foot, he did enough.
His 15th goal in all competitions this season, Isak. Has been linked with Arsenal. I think there'd be a revolution in Newcastle if they chose to sell him.
Well, Rice did sell a very good striker and big name striker from Newcastle to Arsenal. Malcolm McDonald.
Mr. McDonald, yes. Super Mac. Super Isak for Newcastle at the moment.
There's the man that had the big chance, 1v1 against the goalkeeper, looked to have done everything right. Martinelli trying to bend it into the near post.
5 to play in the first half. Timber had a really good chance as well from a corner, headed it over the top of the Newcastle bar. Remember, 17 games unbeaten on this ground. Arsenal have to go back into last April and an Aston Villa win here in the Premier League for the last time they were beaten on home soil, and they're a long way off being beaten on home soil this evening as well, but they are behind. Partey. Martinelli looking for Ødegaard. Livramento is there. It's Gabriel. Big few minutes this in the tie through to half-time. Can Newcastle maintain their lead to the break? Here's Rice. It's Partey. I don't think it was intended for him, but on he goes. And the free kick is given. Well, there was definitely contact. Partey looked as though he'd managed to stay on his feet, and then he hadn't.
Yeah, I think the first one was the foul, and then realising he wasn't going to get to the ball, he threw himself to the ground there. It was probably a foul on this first challenge here, but not much contact. Certainly wasn't worth a yellow card.
Well, Joelinton is highly aggrieved, but nonetheless is in the book, and this free kick is in a very handy little spot.
And I was going to say there was 2 or 3 players that would be interested in this. Declan Rice has now gone away from it, so it's probably Ødegaard or Trossard. Ødegaard, you would imagine, would try and bend it over the top of the wall or round the wall into this near post area. Dubravka is going to go on the other side of the goal.
Well, you'd imagine it would be Odegaard, but Trossard is not a man who lacks confidence. Martin Odegaard has only scored one goal this season. That was from the penalty spot at West Ham. To be fair, he's missed a chunk of the season with injury. Big moment this. Just a few minutes away from half-time, with Arsenal trailing in the first leg of the semi-final. It is Odegaard, and it's into the wall. And retrieved by Saliba. David Raya with the long ball looking for Havertz, cleared away by Gordon, collected by Timber. Odegaard, useful walking ball around the back to Rice, good save. Gabriel denied by Dubravka, big chance. Here's Isak, there might be something on for Newcastle here if Trossard hadn't cut that out. Willock was away.
Good job, he did cut it as well. You're absolutely right, great vision from Isak.
Here's the save, or we'll see it in a sec. Gabriel was the player denied. Lewis Skelly for Arsenal. Minimum of 2 minutes to add on to this first half. It's been an excellent game of football so far. Partey for Timber. Timber for Trossard. Trossard going down, a little bit too late to convince the officials. Gordon. Hall. Trying to win inside a throw-in. In fact, it's ricocheted to Isak, who does win a throw-in. Still down, Trossard.
Well, Gordon had a go at the referee and the assistant referee earlier on in the game when he thought that Trossard had gone down far too easily. The assistant on that occasion didn't want to get involved. Here it is again. It's a little nudge. He might just twist his ankle there, Trossard. Shoulder to shoulder the first time. Here's the chance. Good ball played in by Odegaard. Rice coming round the back. And there is the save. Gabriel. Not much he can do really. Just tries to hit through the back of the... It might have come off Declan Rice's arm as he went to head that ball, so might not have been allowed, and he scored. But a good save, Dubravka. I think it's fair to say, hasn't looked over-convincing when balls have come into the box from set plays, but yeah, that was a good save from him.
It was. Timber for Arsenal. Trossard is in pain here. He's just pulled up as he tried to break into a run. Trossard on his haunches at the moment, as you can see, as play goes on around him.
I think he's twisted his ankle.
Well, it could be another injury to another wide player for Arsenal. Lewis Skelly there. Trossard, bit of a passenger at the moment, finding Timber. Had no option but to give it back to Trossard, who hoiks it up in the direction of Havertz. It's cleared away, and that is half-time. And Alexander Isak, with yet another goal, has Newcastle in front at the Emirates. Halfway through the first leg of this Carabao Cup semi-final. It's been a very, very good 45 minutes. Martinelli hit the post for Arsenal Isak scored for Newcastle. Really good watch. Half-time, it's Arsenal 0, Newcastle United 1. Welcome back. There is the goal scorer from the first half of the first leg. It's Arsenal 0. It's Newcastle 1. And Alexander Isak in the goals yet again for Newcastle. He really is having a tremendous season. Well, the Arsenal record here against Newcastle is absolutely dominant, so this would be very much an outlier if any house side can win at the Emirates. They haven't won in this stadium since 2010. Indeed, they've only drawn one of their 13 visits. Mikel Arteta deep in conversation with the Arsenal set-piece coach. Arsenal will be kicking from right to left in the second half. No substitutions, so that means that Leandro Trossard is out there for Arsenal, having hobbled his way through the 2-minute stoppage time period at the end of the first half. John Brooks indicates that we should get on with it, and Arsenal do. Livramento with that header cushioned by Partey. And Lewis Skelly goes back into Gabriel.
I think it's important for Newcastle in this second half. They don't sit too deep. They still try and cause Arsenal problems going forward. Seen Arsenal many times over the last few years where in the second half they press, score late goals. There's still a lot of football in this game, in this tie. Just need to be a little bit more creative in general play, Arsenal, than they were in the first half.
That's Botman climbing. Martinelli. Gabriel. And that shot charged down by Dubravka in the closing moments of the first half. David Raya looking for the run of Kai Havertz. Havertz seemed to have it under control and then just lost track of exactly where it was.
It's another area I think Arsenal just need to improve. They've got to stick more balls in behind Botman and Byrne. It means they've got to have runners going in there as well. Havertz is coming too short at times. I've already seen Declan Rice at the start of this second half trying to make runs beyond him.
Gabriel. Lewis Skelly.
Imagine if things stay like this for too long, Jesus would be coming on. He would try and run in behind. Different sort of player to Havertz.
Got a hat-trick in the quarter-final, Gabriel Jesus, in the victory over Crystal Palace here. Gone a long time without scoring goals, Gabriel Jesus, but he's then filled his boots over the last 3 weeks or so, over the festive period, with a real return to form. That's out to play from Dubravka. It's an Arsenal throw. Ødegaard. Kai Havertz to Trossard. Just poked away by Hall, collected by Isak, but not for long. Partey got a foot in. Saliba for Trossard. The spinning ball stays on the pitch for a little while. Then it's an Arsenal throw.
In that game you were talking about, Crystal Palace, Arsenal didn't play well at all in that first half. And certainly came back into the game at the start of the second, just as they're trying to do now.
Rice. Martinelli. Lewis Skelly for Gabriel. Trossard. Timber. Partey. Newcastle fully committed at the moment to keeping their shape and keeping Arsenal at arm's length.
So again, this is when Arsenal needs somebody to try and run in behind. Saw Isak do it to great effect on 3 or 4 occasions for Newcastle in the first half.
Timber. Partey. Ødegaard, not like him to fail to control the ball, and that's a nice little ball through, and they might advance here as Willock sent it away to Isak. Isak tried to come inside and had it taken away from him by a well-timed touch from Saliba. Ødegaard to Kai Havertz. Trossard into the run of Martinelli, trying to turn away from Botman, scooping it in. Tonali. Hall only half away. Willock did pretty well to get his body in there, but then his clearance is only straight back to Saliba, and here come the red and white jerseys again. Timber deflecting off Hall. Now Willock will do more than just clear it into no man's land. He'll advance. Look to give Newcastle some respite with a spell of possession. Murphy for Livramento.
The last move they had, Willock played a really poor pass out to Isak.
Murphy. That's a good ball. Isak. Oh, it's on target and Gordon's there! And Newcastle lead by 2. Anthony Gordon taps them into a 2-goal lead at the Emirates Stadium. And the Newcastle supporters are in 7th heaven in North London, because they now have taken charge of this semi-final. Arsenal 0, Newcastle 2, Anthony Gordon.
Brilliant from Isak. First of all, coming short, playing the ball wide, then gets himself into a good position. Excellent pass from Murphy. And what he does, he just knows the defenders there in front of him. Gabriel just tried to get his shot away. And Gordon getting round the back, gets there before Timber. Raya trying to push it away, but he pushes it straight to Gordon. What a start to the second half for Newcastle. Just what they needed with their first attack. He's in the right place at the right time. Timber got some sort of contact on it, but not enough.
It's brilliant from Isak. Absolutely brilliant. And Gordon taps home what is his 3rd goal in the last 4 games. And they lead by 2-0. Well, there's a long, long way before their supporters can start booking Wembley trips. But they have a grip on this game now.
But what they can't do is just drop deeper and deeper and deeper. Arsenal are very much a confident side, and once they get 1 goal, there's every chance they go and get a 2nd, maybe even a 3rd. Some big moments here.
And Ødegaard blocked by Byrne, who gets a handshake from Hall and a high-five from his keeper and a pat on the chest from Botman.
Well, Rice wins the first ball. There's the strike from Ødegaard. He's done that on several occasions, Dan Byrne. Good technique from Ødegaard.
Arsenal gone 13 matches home and away in all competitions, unbeaten since losing in the San Siro to Inter Milan in the Champions League. 17 games unbeaten here since losing to Villa back in April. In goes the Rice corner. Dubravka came, did just about enough. Tonali with Martinelli, and here's Anthony Gordon. And Hall is caught in possession, and it's drifted behind Kai Havertz. Livramento's stretch. Willock helps it on. Arsenal need to be careful. Murphy. Isak away from Partey. Lewis Hall. Isak. Gabriel to Rice. Nice from Ødegaard. Play from Kai Havertz. That's a free kick and probably a card for Gordon. It is.
I'm not sure he needed to slide in there. Havertz wasn't going to run away from them. There's 3 or 4 recovering Newcastle players. See, Hall was getting back there. Havertz does well. He steps across the challenge. He knows it's coming in. He puts that left leg across the challenge. And the only way that Gordon was going to get to the ball was to go through him. And he gets a yellow card. And under a bit of pressure for the rest of the game now.
Joe Linton also on a yellow card. Almost 10 minutes into the second half of the first leg. Are Newcastle going to be taking a lead to St James's Park for the second leg of this semi-final? It's Declan Rice with this Arsenal free kick. Dubravka came. Flag has gone up on the far side.
About 3 or 4 of them looked offside. Newcastle held a high line, a dangerous high line, I would say, and when the ball's played, do they get back onside? No, they don't. Certainly 1 or 2 of them don't. And the player that went for the ball was offside. Gabriel.
Well, this is a competition which, somewhat surprisingly, Arsenal have only won twice. They've reached the final on 8 occasions, losing 6 of them. Is this going to be semi-final disappointment for the Gunners? It's Tonali, Murphy. There is a clear and present danger here of Arsenal going 3-0 down, because Newcastle have such quality up front with Isak and Gordon in particular, but Murphy as well, who's on the ball here and finds Tonali. Zipped in, and David Raya just kept it away from Anthony Gordon. There's the danger.
Well, what a ball that was from Tonali. Just passed it into a good area. And he gets a hand on it, Raya. Almost put it into the path of Gordon.
It's Rice advancing for Arsenal. And now Martinelli. Partey.
Crowd getting frustrated with the movement.
Partey's given it away to Joe Linton, who somewhat fortuitously for Arsenal gave it straight back again. Can't believe it'll be too long before Gabriel Jesus is introduced. Timber, Havertz. It's come off. Oh, Havertz just put it wide. Got it all wrong. It was a big deflection off Lewis Hall, and it just span up. It seemed to be perfect for Havertz, but he misjudged it.
Well, how does he miss this one? It's poor marking in the box. There's the deflection on the cross, which gives the defenders more times to react. Comes off his shoulder, completely mistimes it, as you can see there. He was trying to head the ball after it hit him on the shoulder. Big chance for Arsenal.
Huge chance at what would have been a really significant part of the game. Jorginho is coming on for Thomas Partey, and Gabriel Jesus is going to be introduced, and Trossard is making way. Well, he had to make changes.
What I can't quite work out is Jorginho. If Newcastle are playing on the counter-attack, Jorginho, I think, struggles to get around the pitch. Maybe his passing is better than Partey's. Well, it is better than Partey's, but I'm not sure it's expansive.
This is going to come through to Murphy. Willock seeing a little bit of room there. 3 defenders eventually combine to dispossess him, and Willock is tempted into a foul on Gabriel.
Well, I think Gabriel is a lucky boy there. He actually backs into Willock and falls on the ground.
Jorginho to Saliba, onto Timber. Kai Havertz is now playing down the right-hand side for Arsenal, with Jesus down the middle. Here is the German, looking to take on Lewis Hall. And that's a good ball by Jorginho, and it's pulled back, and Rice is there, and it's away. by Botman. The flag has gone up on the far side. It wouldn't have counted. There was an offside amongst all that.
And there's maybe why Jorginho's on now for Partey. He did see this pass. The ball comes back to him, but he's offside.
Yeah. Clearly
offside.
Good decision that by Wade Smith. Everything that followed was immaterial, but exciting for all that.
Livramento actually got a touch on it, didn't he, to take it away from Rice. The way things are happening for Jesus at the moment, the ball nearly fell for him as well.
We've played just over an hour. From open play, Newcastle have created much more than Arsenal, you'd have to say. And a lot of that is just down to the brilliance at the moment of Isak, very ably supported by Gordon and Tonali.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Tonali. Shown great composure on the ball, good vision. Just linked everything up. It's not just been Isak on the ball, it's been his movement that's caused Arsenal problems. Whether he's come short, whether he's spun in behind. Something that Arsenal haven't had, that player to spin in behind the opposition.
Jorginho. Livramento got a head on it. Here's Rice. Martinelli. In by Gabriel. There was a little glance. Just a little glance, and Byrne had to adjust, actually.
Yeah, I think it hit him more than anything else. Came to him very quickly after taking that deflection, which you were talking about.
Well, the last trophy which Newcastle United won, and which still actually exists as a competition, last major trophy, was the FA Cup in 1955. They won the Fairs Cup, the precursor to the UEFA Cup, in 1969. Rice, good block.
Good recovery run from Willock. Rice charging forward. I wonder whether he was going to try and bend it into space or whether to take the shot. Took the shot.
Harvey Barnes and Sean Longstaff are coming on. It's going to be a third, actually. Lloyd Kelly's going to be coming on as well. 63 played. Arsenal corner. In from Rice. Dubravka didn't get there, and it's headed up and over the top of the crossbar by Gabriel Jesus from a very nearly impossible angle, it must be said. Or was it Saliba who got a head on it?
Still not sure how Arsenal keep getting free headers in these sort of areas. There's nothing special about it. It's a ball play to the far post. Hall doesn't jump, and Saliba does. Just can't get above it. 2 or 3 times that Hall's been found out at the far post. Not really willing to make contact with the attacker.
So Murphy is making way, as is Joe Willock. Longstaff will go into that midfield position, and well, Isak is coming off, which is a little bit of a surprise. On comes Harvey Barnes, Sean Longstaff and Lloyd Kelly.
One player I was thinking they might take off would have been Gordon, because he's been booked and he's been frustrated on 2 or 3 occasions and made slightly rash challenges. Eddie Howe just explained to Isak why he's been taken off.
Well, I don't think it can be because he's being wrapped up in cotton wool for Newcastle's next game. No disrespect to the League Two side, but Newcastle are at home to Bromley in the FA Cup at the weekend. You'd imagine they could get through that without Isak. Here's Rice. Jesus taken away by Longstaff, no foul. And Longstaff plays it into Tino Livramento. And Anthony Gordon, who'll be leading the line now for Newcastle, holds it up. Ignored the little run from Livramento and wins a throw.
Well, they're going to play 5 at the back now, with Kelly coming on. It's a good challenge, nothing wrong with that. Harvey Barnes coming back. Actually, Longstaff that made the challenge.
Livramento with the throw-in. Risk elimination is probably now the name of the game for Newcastle. That's a very soft one indeed. Very, very soft.
That's why I think Gordon's got to be careful. It wasn't a foul by him, but the assistant gave it. Also, I've done that on 2 or 3 occasions where they just lean into the play and then fall to the ground.
Here's Gabriel Martinelli. He might prefer now to be on the left-hand side. He started on the right. In goes the cross, teasing. If Hall had left it, it might have gone for a goal kick, but it's an Arsenal throw.
Once again, Dubravka doesn't look particularly confident when those balls are swung in.
Joe Linton. Barnes tussling and getting involved with Kai Havertz, but losing that little battle. Here's Jorginho for Declan Rice. Lewis Skelly. Rice continued his run. It goes wide for Martinelli. Rice and Ødegaard and Jesus in there. And it's fallen nicely, and it's charged down as Jorginho hits it. Looks for Martinelli. Oh, it would have been brilliant if it had gone in.
Very clever. There's the ball round the corner. Jorginho has the first strike. Joe Linton gets the block in. Plays a little one, so he probably thinks he can't get the strike in past the defenders unless he does that and flicks the ball up for himself. This is good play, just to lift it up, get the volley in, just can't keep it down.
Such quick thinking. Precision in tight spaces, but not quite the reward. And we are 3/4 of the way through this game. Gabriel Jesus. Joe Linton. Gordon. Tonali. Timber for Arsenal for Ødegaard.
Do sense, though, that Arsenal are very close to getting at least 1 goal back here.
Here's Martinelli. Good ball, Declan Rice. Byrne was very quick to see the danger.
And he did well not to foul. Thought he was going to throw himself into the challenge. He's trying to make a lot more of those runs, Declan Rice, through what I would call an inside left position. Gets in behind Botman. Dan Byrne does really well to come across. And then Tonali, the holding midfield player, doing what he should be doing, filling the space that the centre-half has just come out of.
Corner again, though. Rice with it to the near post. Well, that's very disappointing. Don't need a set-piece coach to do that.
Didn't look as though they were on the same wavelength on that occasion. All the players were at the far post and the ball went into the near post and nobody had made the run.
It definitely wasn't on the spreadsheet.
And the set-piece coach, when it doesn't go right, goes and sits back down again.
Yeah, not my fault.
Yeah, nothing to do with me.
Dubravka with the clearance away downfield.
It's fair to say Arsenal's bench is fairly, what I would call a busy bench, isn't it? Several different coaches getting up, having their say.
Fourth official Tony Harrington would no doubt have heard plenty of most of them this evening.
Now, where is the goal going to come from?
20 minutes to go.
Is it going to be a moment of brilliance? Or is it just going to be persistent pressure? Ball's being played into the box.
And Gabriel forward. Here's Rice. Timber, Havertz, Burn in the way. Ødegaard couldn't pick his way through. Harvey Barnes has it for Newcastle. That's giving it straight back though.
I think Gordon wanted it played over the top so he could run after it.
Martinelli. Good defending Livramento, another corner. It's pretty rare Arsenal don't score on home soil. They were held to a goalless draw here by Everton in the middle of December when Everton defended very, very bravely. But that's the only occasion on which Arsenal have drawn a blank at home this season. Rice with the corner kick, Dubravka. David Raya long. Dan Burn with a half-volleyed hoik away downfield. Anthony Gordon's job is now to hold it up if he can. Well, that's going to come to Tonali, and Harvey Barnes is to his left-hand side. Might have played it behind Saliba. Might have been easier for Barnes if he had, and Barnes has lost his footing. And it's a free kick to Arsenal. Chance that.
Was a chance, and I don't think for once Tonali didn't play quite the right pass, did he? Needed to play it in front of Harvey Barnes or inside the centre-half, Saliba. As we've seen on many occasions, Saliba's a good 1v1 defender, and as soon as Harvey Barnes had to beat him, never really looked a threat.
Martinelli, Rice, Kai Havertz, Jorginho. Pretty comfortable for Dubravka.
We see those passes quite often down that right-hand side. Usually it's Saka playing it infield to Ødegaard, and Ødegaard playing it back to him. That time it was Havertz and Jorginho.
Miguel Almiron is going to be on shortly for Newcastle, the Paraguayan, who is being touted with a possible move away from St James's Park in this transfer window. Saliba. Almiron's only made 3 substitute appearances since late October for Newcastle. Lewis Skelly, good foot in by Longstaff that. Tonali did well, Joe Linton. Dispossessed by Gabriel. Lewis Hall recovering from a momentary stumble and from another, did really well. Here's Lloyd Kelly. Dan Burn. Burn's been excellent, hasn't he?
He has. At a stage last season where people were saying that he was far too slow. One of the goals that Newcastle conceded, he was at fault for. But he's been really good this year.
Jorginho with the foul.
I'd imagine it would be Anthony Gordon that comes off for Almiron.
Yeah.
He's a player that has got really good pace, Almiron, particularly when he's running with the ball.
Well, Gordon's got himself another goal. Both goal scorers are now off the pitch. and Newcastle are 15 minutes away from a very significant first leg lead in this semi-final. Miguel Almiron comes on for his 220th Newcastle appearance.
I think he's suggesting they're going to play without a centre forward.
5-5-0 formation.
I think that's what he was saying as he came on.
Kelly goes long.
And that probably sums it up, because the ball was played forward and nobody was willing to make the forward run.
It's actually a 5-1-4-0 formation, isn't it, pretty much? Here's Jorginho.
Well, it's asking for trouble that you haven't got a centre forward or somebody that's going to run in behind or pose a threat on the counter.
Well, we know all about false nines. Newcastle have gone for a no-9 here, but they are 2-0 up with 14 to play. Jorginho. Gabriel Saliba. Jorginho looking for Gabriel Jesus. Burn using his body well again.
But that was better from Jesus, not the touch, but the run. If they are playing with 5 and 5, there's not going to be too much space to play through Newcastle, so you've got to go either down the side of them or over the top of them. It was a good run, decent ball played by Jorginho, and Zinchenko is going to come on.
Alexander Zinchenko for Miles Lewis-Skelly. Zinchenko, another player who hasn't featured much of late. It's a straight positional swap to get the Ukrainian on, but it's some fresh legs. Came on in the 3-1 win at Brentford on New Year's Day, Alexander Zinchenko, but his last appearance before that was right at the start of December. Here's Jorginho. Zinchenko is a League Cup winner on 4 occasions, though. All of them with Manchester City. Here's Gabriel Martinelli to Jorginho.
Actually, one of those would have been against Arsenal as well, the last time that Arsenal got to the final.
Yeah, 3-0 defeat. Here he is, Zinchenko. Jorginho. Martinelli. Joe Linton's header, Tonali there. And Tonali's done pretty well. Well, he's not going to get the free kick that he thought he deserved. And Kai Havertz advances for Arsenal. Ødegaard. Jorginho. Havertz trying to sneak around the back, and he's got there, and Dubravka held it cleanly.
Good ball again, Jorginho. I've often been critical of him because he doesn't play enough penetrative passes, but that's a good one. Just doesn't quite get the cutback right, does he, Havertz? Jesus was going to be first to it, had it been a good cutback.
Well, Arsenal can advance to about 15 metres inside the Newcastle half without meeting any opposition whatsoever. Tonali off the chest of Ødegaard. Joe Linton. Ødegaard, Zinchenko was stretching, and it's a yellow card for the man who's only just come on.
Yeah, Joe Linton did really well just to get there first. Knew that Zinchenko was going to slide in, gets there first. It was always going to be a yellow card for the Ukrainian. Good play from the Newcastle midfield man. Been a frustrating year, isn't it, for Zinchenko?
into the last 10 minutes of the first leg. They're hoping and looking at the moment as though they will take a healthy advantage to St James's Park for the second leg of the semi-final. About a month apart, the two semi-finals. Joe Linton sneaks in behind. Held it up well. It's all about keeping the ball. Lewis Hall, hoping to win a throw-in, does precisely that.
Brilliant from that man there, doing what he did when he first came to Newcastle, be the centre forward. Did well to hold the play up.
Hall. Here comes Jorginho, with the two banks of five retreating and now turning to face up, and Jorginho gives it to Gabriel, and here's Declan Rice and Martinelli, who thumped the post when it was 0-0. Zinchenko outside of the boot, good control actually by Havertz, off Botman for a corner. Tense, really tense now.
And this is where Newcastle have to go and attack the ball. The last couple of deliveries haven't been particularly good from this side. This is a big chance for Arsenal to get themselves back in the game.
Declan Rice. Into the near post, into a little bit of chaos. It's gone behind, I think, of Livramento. Corner again. Played short this time to Zinchenko. Little deflection on the cross. Good header out by Kelly and lifted up and over the top by Gabriel. That's not really his game. Left-footed curler from the edge of the box.
Yeah, I'm not sure Mikel Arteta have been pleased that they took a short corner there. They've had so much success, haven't they?
He's keeping a close eye on how much time is being taken with the restart.
Always makes me laugh. The goalkeeper, he can't take forever, but the referee's going to add time on for any sort of time wasting. He's taking no longer now than he was taking in the first half when the score was 0-0.
Dubravka forward, Joe Linton with a flick on. There'll be some tired legs out there for Newcastle. Well, tired legs for both teams, but Newcastle here have what might feel like a fairly long 7 minutes plus added time, with very little respite from wave after wave of Arsenal pressure.
That's why it's not a good idea to do any sort of time wasting, because you've got to concentrate for longer as the referee adds more time on at the end of the game.
Martinelli's ball into the box, headed by Botman and then by Joe Linton, and a nudge by Gabriel Jesus on Tonali. Shoulder, he says, but a free kick to Newcastle, and that'll suit them nicely.
I'm not sure he can argue with that decision. Decent ball played in. You have to say Tonali was looking for it. He knew exactly where Jesus was going to run and just stood his ground. And he's done both sides of the game, hasn't he, tonight? Joe Linton not been at his very best in terms of his touch and his passing, but in terms of doing a good job for the team, getting himself in good positions, getting blocks in, winning headers, holding up the play.
Some of those Newcastle fans would have been coming here to watch their side play for 15 years without ever really having anything to celebrate. One draw in all that time is as good as it's been. Last Newcastle player to score a winning goal at the Emirates was Andy Carroll.
Yeah, I think I remember it well.
Here goes Rice, good foot in by Almiron. Actually a free kick to Arsenal.
I don't think the referee gave it. I think the assistant might have, although the assistant's on the far side, somebody gave him a little word that there was a foul there, because he was going to allow play to go on. There's a foul.
Yeah. Four minutes of normal time. Ødegaard with the delivery. It's cleared away by Longstaff. Arsenal are not looking... They'd like to wipe out this deficit, but they'll feel that if they can just reduce it, they back themselves at St James's Park to do the rest of the job. It'll feel very different for Newcastle at 2-1 than it does from 2-0. Jesus putting it in. Jorginho!
Struck it well, just on the half volley, but slightly underneath it. Ball always rising. No touch from the goalkeeper either. It's been a frustrating game for Arsenal. Those who are critical of Arteta and makeup of the team will still say that they're missing a centre forward, the like of Isak, who can run in behind, who can score goals.
And there aren't too many like Isak around. Gabriel Zinchenko. Jorginho. The Arsenal fans are beginning to thin out in the Emirates. Here's Gabriel Martinelli and Jorginho. Saliba. Martinelli's cross. Zinchenko ducked underneath it so that Rice could collect his. Jorginho. Martinelli. Rice. A lunging Longstaff got in the way. Saliba. Zinchenko. Saliba. Almost into the 90th minute. Havertz for Ødegaard. Timber back to Ødegaard. Now Saliba. Ødegaard. Nice angle on the ball in, headed firmly away by Sven Botman, collected by Saliba. Here's Declan Rice. Julian Timber. Kai Havertz. Scooped in, flicked on, and up by Botman and collected by Dubravka. They're nearly over the line here, Newcastle.
Got to say, Newcastle have defended their penalty box really well today, even when they haven't played with a centre forward in this last 15-20 minutes or so, and Arsenal have had all the possession. They've defended balls into their box with great tenacity, good understanding. The problem that Newcastle have with their two centre-halves is that they're not particularly quick, and Arsenal have never really exploited that, apart from that one run from Martinelli in the first half. Not been enough movement behind those two centre-backs from Arsenal.
Hall winning something, and it's played into Almiron, who can't control it. Wow. Well, I think the flag was up. Minimum of 5. Gabriel Martinelli. Jesus on the half turn. Can't squeeze it back into Declan Rice. Here's Jorginho. Gabriel. Saliba. Livramento's downward header. Alexander Zinchenko for Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli's cross. And it flicked on, and there's an important boot by Hall to volley it away, back in by Saliba. Bit of a slice by Barnes, but it's gone out of play for an Arsenal throw. Every second precious. Jorginho. Tino Livramento. Here's Rice. Jesus. It's Jorginho and Saliba. Gabriel practically playing as a right winger now. It's touched behind by Joe Linton. Arsenal will have a corner.
Very tired, Joe Linton as well, the way he stretched with that ball. Big moment again for Arsenal. Can they get themselves back in this tie? Some tired minds out there on both sets of players.
Well, they've scored way more goals from corners and set pieces over the last 2 years than any other side. They need one here. Ødegaard with the delivery. Headed away by Harvey Barnes. Ødegaard. Slightly different angle on it. Longstaff got something on it. Here's Zinchenko. Away from the lunging Hall. Declan Rice. Good header again. Tino Livramento and Lloyd Kelly can just try and use up some seconds and lever the ball away from the danger area. Still more than 2 minutes of added time to play. Ødegaard. Pretty certain Arsenal won't score two, but if they get one, it could change the complexion of the tie. Timber to the byline. Almiron just misjudged the flight of that. Jorginho. Chance for the cross. Up goes Gabriel, and Longstaff was there.
Good reading of the situation from Longstaff. It was a good cross into the box. They had players in there, Arsenal. Longstaff saw and was aware of the little cutback.
This 5 minutes of added time must feel like 55 to Newcastle. Gabriel Martinelli into the box. Up go the heads. Byrne got something on it. The bouncing ball can't get onto it. Jesus Tonali prevented that. And it's a Newcastle throw-in, and that will feel like a major success.
It wasn't to know, but Almiron could have just swung his right boot at that. There was a forward runner, but there's the player that changed the complex of the game.
Brilliant performance for something like 65 minutes while he was on the pitch. Goal and an assist for Alexander Isak. There's a yellow card for time wasting for Tino Livramento.
Don't think he's going to mind that. Oof.
Oof. Misjudged throw. It's just brought down by Rice. It's Jorginho for Arsenal. Just about time for one last foray forward. Arsenal are appealing for handball. Here's David Raya and Declan Rice. Fainting away to Julian Timber. John Brooks will be glancing at his watch as the ball is played into the edge of the area. Livramento only half away. Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli's curling ball. Good fist Dubravka. Saliba beating Hall to the rebound, getting the cross in. Timber is there. That's Longstaff. And that is full time. And Newcastle have a really, really significant advantage to take to St James's Park for the second leg of this Carabao Cup semi-final. Goals from Alexander Isak and Anthony Gordon, and they have taken this first leg by 2-0. Stuart Robson, what a super game of football, what a great result for Newcastle.
Certainly was. For 60 minutes, Newcastle played really well. They looked a threat on the counter-attack. Isak was excellent as the centre forward. Arsenal had a lot of the ball, particularly the last 20 minutes when Newcastle played without a striker. But Arsenal lacked that little bit of creativity. Yes, they look a threat from set plays, but they didn't have enough players running in behind, apart from when Martinelli hit the post. Not good enough from Arsenal. Well played, Newcastle.
Well, the second leg is to come at St James's Park, and there is very definitely no celebrations from tonight's winners, because there's still half the job to do. But Arsenal's task in the northeast will be a very, very difficult one indeed for Mikel Arteta, because after the first leg of the semi-final at the Emirates Stadium, it is Newcastle joy. It's finished Arsenal 0, Newcastle United 2.
Thank you, supporters. As always, have a safe journey home and good night from the Arsenal.